Today, we're going to talk about how to run the perfect marketing meeting. So I'll kick this one off. Let's say you're fortunate enough to have a marketing team. You have a couple people, maybe it could be 2, 3, it could be 10 people or so. Well, you want to get the team together because you want to make sure that the team is aligned. And so I'll just use us as an example. We actually have a meeting called the Marketing Conclave, which is run bi-weekly. And sometimes I even join that meeting as well. But in that meeting, we'll talk about experiments that are being ran and how that experiment went. So you should always be thinking about running experimentations, experimenting with new ideas, right? So it could be titles, topics, could be like a new tool that you might want to roll out, but you also want to be reviewing those metrics as well. And you want to be measuring kind of, if you come up with a new idea, what's the impact of that idea? What is your confidence that that idea will succeed? And what's the ease of actually doing that idea? So we build our experimentation meetings into that one. And then we run through issues that we're facing on the marketing side. And it's kind of a little mastermind that happens. And that meeting happens for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes or so. And also in that meeting, we also track metrics that we're trying to optimize for. So it could be like conversion rates. It could be for traffic as well. So it's just a kind of all in one to make sure that we're all kind of marching in the same direction. So that's a very simple framework that we use.
And for me, the way I look at marketing meetings is beforehand, there should be one objective that people want to discussing. Everyone should be on the same page. They should be emailed about it. They should be emailed all the data about it, what's working, what's not working, what issues we have, what problems we're trying to solve, potential solutions. I request that people document and send that out ahead of time. And I make them do it in 1 page or less. And I want everyone to have read up on it. So that way, when we go into a meeting, it can be super productive and then we can solve the problems. But the big thing that I've learned, at least the way I run my marketing meetings, and there's no right or wrong way to do it. Everyone has a different approach. I request that everyone figure out, hey, what are the issues? What's the purpose of the meeting? Write up the synopsis. It needs to be in 1 page and it needs to be super detailed and everyone needs to be caught up to speed, because the last thing I want to do is go into a meeting and then people discuss the issues and the problems and haven't had time to think about what are the solutions and what's the best approach to move forward.
Do you actually have them like Jeff Bezos style read the document first when the meeting starts, or do you have them pre-read it?
No, they read it before the meeting. They even come into the meeting.
Okay, interesting.
I don't
Yeah.
know what Bezos does, but I require him to read it before they come into the meeting.
So the Jeff Bezos thing, the way that one works is he has them read it during the meeting in the very beginning because he knows it's not likely for people to read before, because people can just coast, right? So that's his logic behind it. I don't think it's right or wrong to have them pre-read or whatever, but I just was curious. The framework that you could use, and we've kind of modified this over the years, is there's a book called Traction, which is the entrepreneur's operating system. But to Neil's point, you have to have an objective for each meeting. Otherwise, it's a complete waste of time. And if you're the owner of the company and you're letting these meetings just suck, that's on you. But you want to have an objective first. But also, to Neil's point, you want to discuss issues, right? So, you can identify the issues and then discuss the issues. And then most importantly, solve issues. Like nothing bothers me more than sitting in a meeting for like an hour or so and then nothing happens from that, right? And that doesn't happen anymore. If it does happen, like if I do sit in one, like I'll just go nuts, right? And so here's what I recommend too. You can use a tool like Chorus. I think there's cheaper tools now. I mean, we use Gong, but for marketing meetings, for people that don't make it, sometimes we actually have those meetings recorded in Gong, and people can actually give feedback on the meeting too. So at the very end of the meeting, we actually have people rate the meeting too, just so we can understand how to continually improve. So anything else,
Have
Neil?
you have you ever calculated and tracked how much money you guys spend on meetings when you look at time your team spends and how much it's costing you?
You had a calculator you shared like 5 or 7 years ago
Yeah,
on.
so we do it. I don't have the latest numbers, but I know years and years ago, we were much smaller at the time. We were spending close to $3 million on meetings, and a lot of it is just wastage, right? It doesn't mean that I don't want to pay people. I don't want to pay people to just continue to be in meetings all day, because that just means that no work is getting done.
Yeah.
And if you can't get the work done, then what's the point? Everyone's just meeting and they continually discuss stuff, and then they just meet again about what they thought about it. It's like it just keeps going on and on. We ended up nipping it in the butt, in which we still do meetings, but it's much more controlled now. I don't know how much we spend now. I would say we probably spend more money now than we did back then, but we also have way more headcount. But it is more efficient, in which proportion wise, we don't run as many meetings per person compared to what we used to do. And it's very direct. It's like, do you actually need all those people in your meeting? If not, don't include them. You got to be really strict with it, or else what you'll find is people, especially in marketing, continue to meet and discuss stuff and nothing ever gets done.
Yeah, this is maybe 10 years ago now. Now we're dating ourselves, but this was before memes were a thing. And Neil actually shared a picture on like, you want to be unproductive, then throw a meeting. And remember this? There's like the character like had his like legs kicked back. This he shared it on
Yeah.
Facebook, I think. Yeah.
That was a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah. Final thing I'll add. Actually, we're trying this right now, Neil. This could be interesting for you guys too. But there's a guy that we know. His company is valued at about $2.5 billion, has about a couple hundred employees or so, I think about 800. And he's had his exits already, right? And he does this thing where it's called 3 up, 3 down. And what that means is, let's say hypothetically, Neil, you report to me. Okay. So at the end of the week, you will note 3 things that were amazing and 3 things that just sucked. Right. And then he gets all his direct reports together the next week. And it's only a 30-minute meeting. That's it. Right. 30-minute meeting. And then he has his assistant compile all the information, 3 up, 3 down. Here's Neil. Here's like Bob. Here's Sally, whatever. And they talk through the issues and they figure out who to send the issues off over to. And so it's not like a bunch of meetings. It's like super high leverage stuff. Work on it. That's it. We just started doing it and it's been pretty amazing. So I'll probably report back in like a month or 2.
Yeah, curious how that goes. We don't do that, but if it worked out really well, I would consider trying it.
Yep. All right. So that's it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. By the way, if you want to meet us, you can go to levelingup.com/founders for our private founders community. Learn more about that for our next event in Miami, Q1. See you later.